Okay. I shall wait a few minutes. Mm, mm. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. YouTube is currently they're saying that there's no one on here watching me. So if someone's on here watching me, type in something, please. Um, let's see. I know it's pretty early in some places, but I'm gonna just go ahead and get my message out there. I may not leave this up, so hopefully it'll get to whoever it needs to get to. Okay. So I'm just looking over some of my notes right now. I need you to stay here without falling. Ooh. I can't find my e. I think it's called a eagle or something. Whatever that shit is that you hold the phone on when you're trying to record something. I can't find mine, so I'm trying to nigger rig this. I'm not doing a great job at nigger rigging it. Okay. Let me get in here. I might put this. That's a French song that I was playing. I can't tell you who the artist is. All I can tell you was on the soundtrack of Vikings, I think maybe. It's a French, black French. I think he's Haitian, but he speaks French or whatever. Artist, and I was really, come on, I was really liking this song, but it's in another language, and the song made me feel like I was going on the battlefield to handle some business. And although I do have French in my background, the farther away from the language, the harder it is for me to remember it. But apparently, I remembered all of the French language that I learned and this song because the song says exactly what I thought it said, which is we coming for our shit and we gonna take out everybody in our way, basically. So that's one of my favorite songs. So I played that, and so basically I told y'all the background of how I got into all of this. Um, in 2021, my husband and I were illegally evicted from a townhouse we was living in. We had fell behind on rent for 1 month, and since it was the pandemic and he had lost his teaching job, we had applied for the CARES Act um, help for rent. We got approved for the CARES Act help for rent. They approved us for $15,000. They sent the money to the landlord. That $15,000 would have covered us for the remainder of the year. Um, they received the check and then they proceeded to evict. Um, when the sheriff came to evict us, they came with a paper that had no judge's signature on there. And I'm sorry. So when they came to put us out, even though they legally didn't have a right, because it was not only did they not have a judge's signature, but this was during the non-evict mandate. So they had received the totality of the balance of the 5 months left on the lease. The 1 month we was behind, they had received that. And they didn't have a judge's signature. The lawyer said, just so you know, the judge has full immunity. It doesn't matter if they're doing a crime and they know it. I can't do nothing about it. So me and Augustus we had already had plans to go on a bucket list uh journey. So we stuck to our plan and we did that for a year. Then while we was in a car living, traveling across country, hotels, Airbnbs, we started we do sacred sacred vision quests. And one of our vision quests, they told me to look into the Uniform Commercial Code because that's where my trust fund is that my grandfather was trying to tell me about. And I said, why would my trust fund from my grandfather be on Google? I did not understand what the hell they was telling me until I started looking into it. And sure enough, I found out, yes, this is what my grandfather was telling me about our trust funds. We all have them. We all worth all this money. And he was trying to tell me how to access it before he died. We just did not have enough time. Now, that happened when I was 15 when my grandfather was teaching me this. And at 43 is when I'm actually doing what he told me to do because I couldn't understand it. So that's how I got here into consumer law and the uniform codes and all that. Let me turn this fan off so sound is not in the background. So I think learning all the things that we learned, it was so overwhelming at the amount of lies that's told to us. Um, and at this point, because we was living in our car traveling, we decided to see how this would affect the car notes. And that's when we learned about the car note and how they are completely committing a crime by making us pay car notes, because if you actually read your damn car note, you would see that your car note says, we pay for you in your financing statement. We pay for you. Any payments associated with this contract, we pay for you. We pay the finance charge. We pay the car insurance. We pay for service fees. We pay for maintenance. I was like, what? Well, if you pay for all this, what the fuck am I paying? And then we started to ask questions. So we called the insurance company, and the insurance company said, well, yeah, your financing company has insurance on the car. And so we said, well, then why the fuck are we paying you insurance? And they said, because it was cool to have in the car. I believe on one of my previous videos from last year, you can actually go back and listen to the recording of the insurance agent saying that it's something good to have in the car in case the cops stop you. In case the cops stop you. Because on your financing statement, it doesn't give you the insurance policy that they hold for you. So you see how they be slick? All that trickery? So I said for them to cancel the insurance, and we stopped paying the car note. And when she called and said, are we going to pay the car note? And we told her, sure thing. Soon as she showed us the receipt saying she paid for it for us, we never heard from her again. And she reported on the credit bureaus that I had been paying the bill on time every month. I never paid that car note once. I do believe if you go onto my community page, you'll see screenshots of that. The reason why I keep telling y'all where to go to look at whatever I'm saying to you is because somebody tried to discredit me and say that I was still in their process and trying to sell it. And so now I got to go through the motions of this stupid shit because somebody tried to discredit me. And I do not like anybody saying anything against my name that is not true. So forgive me if you already know this information and you hear me repeating it, but it's a lot of new people on my channel, so there you go. So after the car note, we started to look into the housing situation. We had came across some Telegram groups, and they were talking about how we're not tenants and nobody can be evicted unless they're evicted through HUD and all this information. So we started looking into that. And then we had, I had did a class with Mansa, and he was reading to us from the Federal Reserve .gov website, and it was saying how our signature pays for whatever application we're doing immediately. And I was like, wait, what? So then I started reading on that, and sorry y'all, I'm trying to make me something to eat. So I started to look into that, and this damn housing shit never ends. It just never ends. It never ends from state to state, the bullshit. So I said, instead of us stacking money to move into a place, keep paying fucking rent, to be back in a situation when they do a fake ass pandemic again, for them to do all the crimes they did to us again, what if we change the way we think, if we stop thinking like children and start thinking like adults? So we had came up with a plan to stack the money to move into the place. Once you get in there, pay the rent 1 month and then don't pay it again. let it fall into eviction. We said that our plan was to only do corporate, to never do this with a mom and pop ever. First of all, this is only true for a landlord that has 5 or more properties. So trying this with your landlord that just happened to inherit a damn house and they rent it out because they can't use it and they just trying to stay alive, you're wasting your time. So we try to do everything strategically. We did that. We got into it. We paid this ridiculous amount of money to move into the place. And we paid the first month, which I found out later to be bad on my side. I should have never even paid the first month. But you have to learn. You have to go through these processes to see what's the right thing to do and what works and what doesn't work. So we stopped paying. Sorry, I thought somebody was on the door. We stopped paying and let it fall into eviction. It's crazy though, because when we let it fall into eviction, both of us fell ill to pneumonia and RSV at that time. So we had no way to fight, no way to argue or nothing. That shit did not work out. Um, but it worked out. So we end up being there for what's this month? April. Yeah. So let me see. So we moved in October. We had the first hearing the end of January. So we pay October to move in. So November, December. Yeah, so we was almost 3 months behind, I believe, once we actually first went to court. So we went to court. Well, actually, we didn't go to court because we didn't know we had court. They never serviced us. They never gave us a summons, ever. So there was a default judgment against us, and the lawyer had sent me some kind of email about the judgment, and I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" So I went to the courthouse and found out that there was a default judgment against us, and we had been evicted, and there was a writ of restitution or writ of what is that shit called? A writ of restitution, I think, for us to give over the house, the apartment back. So I was asking the clerk, how can they have a trial and a ruling without ever notifying us? Do you have any paperwork saying that they gave us a summons? And they could not find any paperwork saying that they gave us a summons or whatever. So she was like, well, I'll deny it if you tell somebody I said this to you. But this is what you filed. So we filed these papers, and like in 24 hours, the fucking ruling was dismissed. It was dismissed and suppressed. And then the landlord, I mean, the lawyer from the landlord called us and said, do I know why the judge would, he used some word that I don't use regularly, so I don't know how to say it. Do you know why the judge, I think it was maybe it was inexplicitly, why the judge would inexplicitly close the case and suppress it and not give us a reason. Do you mind if I reopen this case? And that's how I found out that we won that case and we thought everything was good. This is why I was telling y'all, you have to make sure when you file these motions that you put in, you want it to be dismissed with prejudice. We did not do that because we had no idea what we was doing. And because of that, even though I told the lawyer you do not have permission to reopen this case, he reopened it anyway. He reopened the case, and then they went to Um, they was having a hearing, and me and Augustus found out that the hearing was going on. So we went down to the courthouse. They said, "Oh no, you can't come to the courthouse. It's a computer hearing, or you got to call on the phone." And so we're driving away from the courthouse to go back to the apartment to call them. And we're calling in, and then the judge is acting like she can't hear me talking. So I had to be derogatory to her for her to acknowledge me. And while she was doing that, she said to me, she said to the court, Mr. and Mrs. Ward are not in the courtroom. And so I thought to myself, oh, we're not in the courtroom. They just told us we couldn't be in the courtroom and we had to leave. So judicial misconduct right there. So I call in and I'm like, y'all just told us that we're not supposed to be in the courtroom. And she said, you have an option. I said, well, I'm on the phone driving back to the courtroom. So she said, well, I can't go proceed with you driving and talking on the phone. So she said, we'll wait for you to get here. So I says to Augustus, you stay on that line. I'm going to go on the court. He stayed on the line. They were proceeding with the trial while I was supposedly driving to the court. I was like, look at the crooked shit that's going on here. You know, we record everything now. So we had that done, and the judge was just as crooked as she was not a judge. She did not allow any of our stuff to go in. We didn't know we had court. I said, how are you having a trial if there was never a summons given? And then she said, well, this is the hearing right now to go over the process of summons, the service of summons process. Mind you, we never went over it. She said this trial right here is only a trial to retrieve the property. That's what she said in court. This is only a trial for repossession. So I said, oh, how can this be a trial for repossession if this case was thrown out? And then I said, you don't have jurisdiction over me, so why are we here? I said, all the paperwork I filed is specifically said I do not agree to have any of this in a public setting. Her lawyer says, well, the lawyer for the realtor says, Your Honor, well, since she came and sat down in that chair, that gave you jurisdiction, didn't? And then the judge said, yes, it did. I said, oh. So me and Augustus started laughing like, OVC, you motherfucker. Cool. Now remember, this was never a lifetime commitment. We was not trying to live there to live a life and just go to work. And it was never that. This was always a trial to see how this shit works. So, oh, hold on. I'm starving. I should have ate before I did this live. Mm. Okay, so we're having this fake trial with this fake judge and this fake lawyer and shit. And we peeping everything they said. So I said, before you rule against me real quick, do you got an ISLN number? And she went the fuck off. What are you talking about? I don't know what that is. And I was like, why are you so upset, Your Honor? So I had already been pissing her off because I didn't respect her. And I seen her ruling against me illegally. So at that point, there was just no more respect that would ever be given. So she ruled against this. I asked her, can we do an appeal? She said, sure, I'll give you you can do your appeal. You just got to pay $7,700 to get the appeal. And then I laughed at her. So I rolled up a bond to pay the court. And then I said, I think I'm missing something. I was like, that shit was too easy to dismiss this in the last case. So let's try that again. Because she did not go over certain things. So we put the same paperwork in. And it sat in her box for like 30 days. Like she wouldn't touch that shit. And I made sure to write that ISLN number and over on all my shit. So she'll know I'm not playing with her. So there was nothing for 30 days. It was a writ of restitution written, but not signed. So what's this month? April, March. So February, nothing's happening. We check in the courthouse every day. Nothing's going on. And then March 15 happened. And I put that video up for y'all to see, where the sheriff came and we made the sheriff leave. Remember, the sheriff came with a writ of restitution that was for that first case that had been overturned. Remember that case? She said this was from February the 2nd. And I said that's for a case that was dismissed, and the ruling that was dismissed, so that was not valid. And she called her paralegal. Her paralegal told her she does not have a legal right to come into my place because that case was still open. Go back in my videos and watch it. You hear the fucking sheriff saying that the case is still open. Okay. They can't evict you if it's an open case, honey. It has to be closed because that means the order was done and everything is done. It's done. So, we won that battle. Now y'all know I told y'all you win on Monday and on Wednesday you lose. So you got to be ready for your Friday fight so you can win on Friday. So this was on the 15th of March. I sent her away. She came back March the 22nd. Now when she came back March the 22nd, the same two sheriffs, I opened the door. They pushed me away. They forced their way into the apartment. And I said, cool, y'all coming in here. You got your ADA agent, advocate. And the bitch said again, no, I told you I wasn't giving you an ADA advocate. I said, okay, cool. As long as you fucking know that I'm recording you live and you're fucking committing a felony. Now you say again, you are not going to respect my rights as a person with disability. She said, no, I told you I wasn't doing it. I said, cool, let me get that writ. She said, no. I said, if you think you coming up in here and you moving anything of my shit out of here without a writ, that's valid. You got another thing coming to you. So this is where me and my husband starts to fall. And you have to understand that if y'all do not stand together as a team, people will break you up. You are only as strong as your team. That is very important. So remember that. Augustus said, let's just move the shit. We already have our storage stuff. We're not worried about this. We already had the plan. So I say, cool. If I'm going to have to fight this by myself, then I'm not going to go too hard. So he's putting the stuff in the car, and I'm still asking for the writ. And then the male officer y'all saw acting like he was the nice guy, He puts his hand on his gun and he says, "No, you will not see the writ." I have all this on record. "You will not see the writ." I said, "What?" And then Augustus said, "Hold up. Are you talking to my wife like that?" And then he go all the way down to the tone of a kid and said, "No, sir, no. I'm just saying the writ will be posted on the door when we're done." So I said, "Okay, cool." So I'm going walking around the house recording them committing the crimes they committing and asking them some legal questions, getting them to fucking perjure themselves on record. They so dumb. God damn. And I was telling them, please stop fucking yourself. You committed 3 felonies already. They still doing it. So you know I got a hard on for the bitch, right? So I walk back into the kitchen. She has the writ in her hand. So I said, "That's the writ?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Let me get that so I can read it." She said, "No." I said, "Give me the writ so I can read it." She says, "No," again. Remember, I'm recording this shit. So I go and rip the fucking writ out her hand. Remember, they pulled their gun on me already. So I go and pull that fucking writ out her hand. And she pulls it back like a fucking child. And I said, "Why are you in a power struggle with me, sis? If you have a legal right to do this, show me the writ." She gonna hold the writ up where I can't see it. So I said, "I can't see that. Let me get that." She said, "No." I said, "What the fuck am I gonna run away with the writ, fool? Can't you reprint a legal document if it's legal?" So she refused. So I know I'm getting madder and I'm getting madder and I'm getting madder. And I'm watching my husband take my shit to the car. So the man who keeps putting his hand on his gun when my fucking husband leaves the apartment says, "Come on, you gotta go ahead out of there now." I said, "What you gonna do? Shoot me if I don't?" He said, "Ma'am, don't let this get out of hand." I said, "Oh, that's another threat." So that's being recorded too. So I walk around to the front of the apartment, right? Remember, this is March 22nd. I walk around to the front of the apartment. The bitch that I'm gunning for is taping it to the door. I said again, "McCall, remember, you have a cease and desist order to not use my assumed name. I've told you on this camera. I went down to your office. You've all been notified. And you just put my fucking name on a public setting on the door. And then I put the camera to the camera that's on the other apartment's door. And then I put her on there. I said, I'm recording you committing infringement now." And she's scared as shit. She just ignoring me. So Augusta says, "Can you fucking just come on? Because I'm tired of this shit now. Now I'm done." So I leave. But because I don't do anything halfway, I always cover my ass. I said, we are missing something. So we went away for 2 days. We went away and I'm thinking and I'm thinking, I'm thinking. Something is not right. So we go down to the courthouse. And the court says there are no eviction orders for you this year. So did I make a mistake or did somebody extort me? So I said, I want you to tell me again what you just read in your record. She said, there are no eviction orders, no writ of restitution orders for you this year, in the year of 2023. Now, what did the sheriff bring to me? So we leave this office and then we go back to the apartment and I pull the writ off the door and I'm reading the writ I'm reading the writ. In the fucking writ, it fucking says this is not a court-ordered move-out order. What? This is not a court-ordered move-out order. Meaning, you do not have permission to remove this person from the property. And that's why she refused to let me see the writ first. Look at the sneakiness. Y'all got to pay attention because they going to come for y'all. Once you come back for your shit, they not going to give it up. You know it. So I said, listen, Augustus, this is either going to make our marriage stronger or fuck our marriage up. That shit said they had no legal right to move me. So we went back to the courthouse. We went to 3 separate clerks at 3 separate times. Every clerk told us that there were no court-ordered evictions on us for the year. They said there was a case from last year that was dismissed and suppressed. I said, what about the writ of restitution? They said there is no writ of restitution. The one that was ordered last year was dismissed and canceled out. So I showed them the copy of the writ that was on the door. The clerk, the look on her face was like, what the fuck is this? Where did the writ come from? I have all this on recording. She said, where did the writ come from? I said, you tell me. She looked through that file, that case file of me, and couldn't find shit. So she says, is it a case number on that paper? I said, yeah. So I give her the case number. She said, oh, here's the case right here. Yeah, there's no writ of restitution. So think about this shit like this. Think about this. Why couldn't she find this case anywhere in the court record except for when she put that number in? I'm thinking my shit was granted and suppressed again. Isn't that right? Just like the first time. Y'all have to pay attention very carefully to what I'm saying. If they can't see anything, it's suppressed. But once she went into the document, because I gave her permission, because if you're a party to it, you can give the court permission to open the case up, which is what I did. She said, yeah, but still, no, there's no writ. Even when she went into a suppressed fucking case, it still wasn't no writ. So her supervisor comes out. We never called the supervisor. Pay attention to everything I say. No one ever called the supervisor. The supervisor comes out. You know why the supervisor came out, right? Because click, click, ding, ding. Somebody is accessing a suppressed document. Pay attention to everything I say. So she's coming out, and the supervisor starts shaking her head soon as she come out. And then so Chrissy says, do you see this? And the supervisor says, I don't know how they did that. It's no eviction order in here. And she just grabbed her mouth. So I gets upset and I start crying because I'm like, this is disturbing the clerks. I said, they put all my shit out. I lost all my shit. And you're telling me there's no eviction order on me. She said, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I don't know what we can do. We can advise you to go to this lawyer. We have a lawyer hotline. You call this lawyer, ma'am. She said, you know what? No. You can also put a motion in to have the judge explain. This is the same clerk that taught me the little motions to file to suppress all this shit and get it removed. So she was already invested. And then her supervisor was invested. And she said, I'm so sorry this happened to you. There is no legal order for this. She said, please get you a lawyer. So I said, cool. I go back to the car. I'm so angry that y'all know when I get angry, I cry to stop me from doing bad shit. So I'm like, there really is no writ anywhere. So I'm about to get me a locksmith. Got me a locksmith, went back into my place. I'm sorry, I did not lose my stuff that time. I had all my stuff, I took it to the storage. Right. So we moved back into the place, got the locksmith to open the door. We was in there for another 3 days, and I didn't want to be in a state of alert where I had to watch the door and wait to see if somebody coming and shooting. I didn't want to do that, so I made my move. And the morning that this incident happened, Augustus said, I don't think we should do this. I think we should leave. And I said, I have to follow through and finish what I start. Let's just see how today goes. He did not agree. He left. That was at 4:30 in the morning, the day of the incident. Now, I stayed there. I held my ground that whole day. I got tired around 6 because I said, the office closes at 5, so I could rest at 6. And I fell asleep. I dozed off, and I woke up to police banging on the door at 8:30 p.m. I forgot to tell y'all I had sent the landlord an email, and I said what you did was illegal. I put the information on there. I attached a recording of the court saying that there was no eviction, and I said if you come in here, I'm going to shoot you. So she had the cops come. Mind you, the day that we went and had the locksmith change the locks, we went to the main police headquarters of Colorado, and we said during eviction processes, do y'all get involved or is that the sheriff? And the captain said this is a sheriff, this is a civil matter. Any evictions is a civil matter. Got that on record too. Any eviction case is a civil matter. The landlords try to call us all the time, but we refer them to the sheriff's department. So we said, cool. I want to make sure I know who's coming for me. Remember that. Y'all better remember that too for yourself. So, all right, we back in the place. I told y'all what happened. Now with the police knocking on the door, Augustus wasn't there. I was alone, and I did not have any clothes on. So I was like, hold on, let me put something on. And they banging and banging, trying to scare me. Cool. Hold on. Let me put something on. So I'm putting something on, getting my recording ready. I open the door, and they start talking. I said, I'm gonna need y'all to come in. There's a recorder recording y'all right now, and you are violating my privacy rights. So I let them in. There are 3 white cops with their vests on, their tasers, and their guns. And they stood in a position of military, like if they were to put me in a box. So I made sure to put my phone right in their face and said, since I'm in this house by myself, I'm recording everything that's happening just in case y'all try to shoot me. So why are you here? And they said, we got a trespass call from the landlord. And I said, okay, cool. I'm glad you came. Let's get this out the way. Here go my legal paperwork. Here's the legal document saying that I'm supposed to be in this property. And he says, I don't understand what none of that means. So I'm just going to go to my car. This is the supervisor. He says, I'm the supervisor. I'm going to go to my car, and I'm going to only look into what the judge order was. I will only deal with what the judge order says. He says that on camera. He says, I will not go by hearsay, gossip from the landlord. um, or even what you say and what your recording said. He said, I'm only going to go by the judge's order. And I said, finally, a law enforcement agency, I'm an agent who's going to enforce the law. Please go do that. So he said, give me a minute. He was in that fucking car for 20 minutes. His fucking partners is like looking at their watch like this is taking a long time. And they were waiting. While they were waiting, I was playing a video, the recording of the clerks all saying that there's no case at all. And the fucking cops looked at themselves like each other like, well, we can't go off of your recording, right? So everybody know that there's all these crimes being committed against me and nobody's doing nothing to protect me or help me. Nobody. My husband left because he said enough is enough. He don't give a fuck if we right or wrong. Cool. So this sergeant who said he's going to obey the law comes back into the fucking apartment and he says, and I quote, I can't find no court cases for this year for you. I said, okay, cool. So you don't have that court order from the judge signature that you said you was only going to work with, right? He said, well, there was a case from last year, but it's suppressed, so I can't see it. I said, okay, cool. He said, but on good faith, I'm going to go with what the sheriff said was right and true. I said, here we go. I said, what that mean? He says, I called the sheriff who did the eviction, and he told me the eviction he did was solid. So in good faith, I'm going to take his word. So I said, but you just told me in honor, you would only take the word of a judge. He said, but in good faith, since I don't understand this eviction stuff, I have to go by the sheriff. I said, okay, before I get upset, let's read this paper together. So he's reading this document along with me. I says, do you see this part right here? This is not statutory. This is not a court-ordered move out order. And I said to him, that means you don't have an order from a judge to move me out. So he said, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'm going to write all this in my notes. I'm going to put all this in my notes. Here's my name. Here's my business card. Everybody dropping their business cards. I said, so y'all pissing me off because you're going to fucking extort me now, right? So they said, if you could get your stuff, and just put it out so you don't lose nothing. Now, mind you, I was by myself. So I called my daughter to tell her to call Augustus to tell him to come get me. And he would not answer the phone for nobody. So I said, cool, call my daughter, tell her to come get me. So my kids, my oldest and my youngest daughters came over with their spouses, and they was trying to help me get my stuff. And so remember I told you I didn't have any clothes on. I had to put something on. I had put an African wrap on. If you don't know what an African wrap is, it's just cloth and you tie it on your body. That's what I had on. So I went in the room to get dressed. I don't know if he was Australian or Briton from Britain, but he was a white man with fucking blue eyes, and he walked back there with me alone. And I'm trying to take my stuff off, and I turn around and he's saying, I said, you can't do that. I'm Muslim. You get the fuck out of here. You will respect me. He said, well, I can't leave you because you could be getting your weapons. I said, you can come and search these 2 rooms and I'll wait out here, but you're not going to stand there and watch me get dressed. And he said, no. So remember, they have a body cam, right? They have a body cam. So my body, when I didn't know that he was behind me, is on somebody's body cam that's visible to anybody that file a claim again. Like I said, I'm Muslim. So all this shit start pissing me off, the violation of my body, the violation of my person. All of this was pissing me off. So then I went the fuck over. And I said, again, how is this different from when y'all did this to us before? You don't have a legal right to do this, but you're moving me off with force. So I'm looking at my baby, the fragile one, the one that's the most delicate. And I'm looking at these cops, and I know what my rights are. So I say, what's the best move right now? Because I'm willing to die for this shit, for real, especially when I know they wrong. So my daughter says to the fucking cops, my mother has bipolar. She's manic right now. So you know how I felt about that shit in that moment. I was like, I know she did not just do that. I said, little girl, do you know you just discredit me in the middle of a war? And she said, I'm trying to protect you. I said, I don't need protection from nobody. So this is all taking place in front of my kids' spouses. And my daughter happens to be marrying a white man. And I walk over to her fiance, and I say, you see, this white cop just said he does not have a legal authority to move me out, but he's going to lock me up if I don't go. You see that, right? You heard him say there is no court orders at all. And he put his head down. And you know what the fuck first thing went to my head was, right? The ones who sees over. I just had to turn my head. I said, in this moment right now, there will never be anybody to protect me or defend me but myself. So I'm standing there, and in my head, I'm still trying to calm myself down because the baby is standing right there. And he keeps saying, get all your stuff. Now, my kids got everything off the counter. And there was two things remaining on the sink. A knife and an instant. And he kept shouting, the one that was watching me while I was undressing. He says, get everything. I pick up the knife, but you know me. I get a fucking knife in my hand, and the first thing I do is put it in a motion to kill somebody by accident. It's just a habit. So I pick up this knife, and it just, the way I had it, it freaked him out, and he got his weapon. He was like, put the weapon down. Put the weapon down now. Remember, I'm recording all this. And my daughter started screaming like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? You just told her to get that. And I said, I just needed y'all to see that. Because even when you do exactly what they tell you to do, they will still shoot your ass. So y'all want me to concede and give over this apartment when everybody has said, even the cops, the clerk of court, which is higher than the fucking judge, if y'all do your research, they all said there's no court order. There's no eviction. I do not have any eviction cases. And they still doing it, committing a crime. So because my baby was there and she was crying, I left. And I said, I'm not going to go back in there this time because I think I've made my point. I was able to get everybody committing a crime all at once. I got a whole web of a racketeering ring all on tape. So what I did was requested the Freedom of Information Act on the body cams of the cops for my lawsuit against them, especially the creep that was watching me get undressed, the fact that they refused to give me an ADA advocate, the fact that they willingly and knowingly knew that they did not have any kind of legal right to remove me from a property that I fucking have a security interest in through the Secretary of State. Those are all felony charges. I needed proof. So now I went to talk to a lawyer. Now, because I don't want to consent to any of this shit, I just called into a lawyer. I'm on the phone with this lawyer and I'm telling the lawyer what happened. And the lawyer is like tisk like every few minutes. He's like, well, damn, that's felony right there. That's a crime right there. That's a felony right there. That's shit. They got 3 felonies right there. And he said, you know what, let's stop all this. Let me just go into the database right now. I got the court system up here. I can access it because I'm a lawyer. And give me your name and all that. Put my information in. And this fucking lawyer says, but there's no eviction cases on you. So what did they have? I said, nigga, how the fuck now the whole city of Colorado and all research my case and can't find one fucking eviction on me? But they put me out. So the fucking lawyer says, oh, you need a lawyer. I was like, bitch, what? He said, no, you need a lawyer. This is a big case. He said, there is no court orders of any eviction. So at the minimum, this is an illegal eviction and a violation of your civil rights. So he referred me to a law group firm that he feel as though is the best law firm he know that will get me every dime I deserve. So I guess he didn't think he was good enough for it, which is I appreciate somebody being honest to me for once. So so that happened. I have to get myself together because me and my husband are separated. We haven't been together for a few weeks now. So this is why I said I was going to go ahead and just tell y'all about these cases, these evictions, and the way you can remedy yourself, because I've gone through it. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. Give me a minute. 1 second. Okay, sorry. I need something to drink. So, like I said, everything that I teach y'all is because of personal experience, what I've learned, how I failed, how I've succeeded, um, the the laws that are on prima facie not common. All of this stuff matters. It all counts. What I've learned in this situation is only the strong will survive. You will get bullied, beat down, some people locked up for 26 days and put in a hole. One of my clients that happened to, and so you got to be smart, because they want you to shut the fuck up about what's happening. They will put you in a hole, and they think putting you in the hole will scare you, so you'll keep your mouth shut. So since I'm doing this alone now, I don't have nobody to watch my back. I have to re-strategize. That's why I said I'm going to stop with the classes and for everything I teach, not just this consumer law, but the magic and everything, because I need to protect myself and I don't know who I can trust. So that's something that I have to work on. And so here it goes. In every state, there are laws, and these laws are there to protect you. But unfortunately, because you don't read, you are not aware of these laws. The number one thing you need to look up to start all of this eviction shit is your improper service of process laws. I hope I said that right. So basically, when this starts, you never want to accept anything from any clerk or service processor. I didn't mean to say clerk. What the fuck? Any landlord or any service processor that's trying to give you a court order. You never accept it. You never say, yes, I am John Smith. Never. I don't give a fuck if you are and you know that you're supposed to get that shit. You do not accept it. The second thing is look up in your state the law on waiving a service of summons. Right. And some of these things I'm going to mix up because my Augustus is not here and he's the one who does all the reading part and he can word everything right. I'm on the ghetto side, so I'm gonna do street phonics with y'all. So you want to look up how to waive a service of summons. In most states, it gives you an extra 30 to 90 days to prepare your case. Now, my strategy for that would be if you're waiving service for 90 days and it goes through and it's granted, on day 91, when they re-serve you, because they have to have a new filing now, you can waive that too. Remember, your time is just as valuable as anybody else. You can also come up with your fee schedule when you put your waiver of summons in to let them know this is how much I charge for my time. I will get around to you when I get around to you. Now, and if you do it right, now I've already given you 6 months to live somewhere without paying. There are all kinds of strategies you can come up with. The other thing is you have to understand jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is key. Mostly all eviction cases go into county court. You got some weird states where it started off in federal and district, which is fucking weird to me. But that all is associated to your state laws. So if any eviction case is in county court, you already have the right to put a motion in for dismissal because it's not the proper venue. That particular court doesn't have jurisdiction over you. So that's a strategy right there too. So you have that. You have the no jurisdiction. You have the waiver of summons. You also have, let's see. You want to make sure that you're following everything. Don't go in a courtroom. If you go in a courtroom, I can't help you. Once you step foot in that courtroom, they own you. So you want to make sure you get everything done through paperwork because that's the only time I've ever won with these motherfuckers is through filing. Hey Rashida, what's up? So through the filing. Okay. Now because y'all have to understand that this is real simple. If I am taking advantage of you and it's working for me, like the group homes. Now, the group homes get, let's say, $6,000 a month for one person. But if that person was being taken care of by their parent, that parent would only get, let's say, 1,000. Why would the group home say to the parent, you're supposed to get like $5,000 more? Why? How he gonna eat? They not gonna let this shit go. So you have to be willing to do what the fuck I'm doing. You have to be willing to fucking stand your ground because that's what they did. If you go to any fucking a corporation, any building, any fucking house that's like, let's say a $2 million house that's owned by a fucking white person, go up to that person and say, "This is my property. You are illegally on it. Leave." And see if they fucking leave. They know what they did. They know how they got that shit. See if they leave. They're not going to leave. So why the fuck would you? Now another way to fight this shit. Remember, you have to look into your law, the laws in your state. When does a judge loses his or her right to absolute immunity? When does a judge lose his or her right for absolute immunity? We talked about this earlier. Judges believe that they have full immunity. They can commit any crime they want and nobody can ever bring any kind of charges against them. That is not true. There are exceptions to every rule. So you either become someone's bitch or somebody's prey, or you become the predator. I've been a prey for 44 years. Now I become the predator. If a judge adjudicates over any kind of case, willingly, that they don't have the proper jurisdiction, that judge loses all immunity, and whatever crimes that judge committed by doing that can be brought to the grand jury, and the judge can be civilly sued. So for everybody who's, ooh, ooh, this one is good because it's real simple and basic. Traffic motherfucking court. Basic. Traffic court. Has anybody ever been locked up for a fucking ticket or insurance? That judge never had the jurisdiction to put you in jail for that shit. I don't think people really understanding the shit that I'm saying to them. I don't think y'all truly comprehend how deep this shit goes. Every fucking crime is a fucking tax event. It's a taxable event. I'm gonna give y'all some more juice. I know I've said this to you before, but for all the new people on here, the judge is a lawyer. The judge had to pass the bar. Yes. Yes. If your judge is a judge, then the judge is a lawyer. I believe that's the only way you can become a judge. The lawyer judge has a bar number. The bar association is a private company, a private organization, a private corporation. The bar association has a EIN number. The bar association is a corporation from Britain, right? So number one, the judge is a foreign agent working on American soil, trying to have jurisdiction over a national of America. I don't think y'all get that. I don't think y'all listen. I don't think you love your people in jail enough that you ain't fucking going to go get them. Still not understanding what I'm saying, right? Now, I've already given you all these grounds to have your case dismissed, suppressed, and with prejudice. Now, I explained to you that every fucking sitting judge, except for the Supreme Court, the Number 9, Supreme Court justices. They are the only ones in this country who are actual bonded and insured judges. Anything outside of the Supreme Court, the 9 Supreme Court justices, they are supervised. They are employees. They have a corporation number. They are not of the government. They do not have jurisdiction over you. They do not have jurisdiction over you. Another argument. Another argument. Back to the bar. If the judge has a bar number and the plaintiff's lawyer has a bar number, but you don't have a bar number, then you are not a part of the private club that the lawyer and the judge are both inside of, right? So this now is a conflict of interest. There's no way that you could be properly adjudicated if the judge and the lawyer knows things that you don't. Motion to dismiss on the grounds that there is a conflict of interest between the judge and the plaintiff's lawyer. Right? Now I'm giving y'all the processes so you can work them for whatever state you in. I'll be here all day telling you state for state what you do for this state, what you do for that state. I'm telling y'all what papers to file, what motions you have at your ready. Now, what was the other thing I wanted to talk to you about? Oh yeah, the state of Maryland. The state of Maryland, the courts doesn't have jurisdiction over any real estate property. I'm not even gonna go deep into that because y'all just still won't do the work. You want somebody to do it for you. But hopefully you'll get what I just said and run with that. Good luck finding that shit. But yeah, anyway. Also, prisoners, people that go to jail a lot, people getting stopped by the fucking cops for not having the proper tags. Okay? Habeas corpus. Writ of habeas corpus. That is where you put a writ into the sheriff or the cop that has locked you up or is placing you under arrest. You write that shit down real quick if you can. You could put it on a napkin. It doesn't matter. You give a writ of restitution. A writ of habeas corpus to the arresting officer or the lawyer or the warden of the jail, and they have to immediately bring you in front of a judge. Okay, so I would look into habeas corpus writs so you can get a better understanding of it. What was the other thing? Habeas corpus. You can get rid of everything with just writing writs. Writs are the most powerful things in the court system. So, yeah, so like say you being held, it's been 3 days, they haven't charged you with anything, and you just still sitting there. Some shit like that. You just give them the writ of habeas corpus and they have to bring you immediately in front of a judge. And this shit is not told to everybody because they don't want you to know. I'm reading these legal documents and it says if you do a writ of habeas corpus, if too many people do it, it will disrupt the order in the court system. Look at this crooked shit. And I'm on a fucking law.com, some law something. I don't know. I be just fucking reading shit. And this said, if more people put a writ of habeas corpus in, it is going to disrupt the administrative process, and the court system. That's why they don't tell y'all can get that shit done immediately. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? This is so crooked. So crooked. But I hope that y'all was paying attention to what I had to tell you. I told y'all how to get out of these crimes. I told y'all how to block yourself from going through what I had to go through because I did not file that one fucking motion, which is to dismiss with prejudice. Always remember, with prejudice. If you don't get it dismissed with prejudice, you're going to leave your leave everything open for them to come back and keep filing frivolous shit. So uh, I just gotta find the right lawyer. Somebody told me I should get a lawyer outside of the state of Colorado because they all work together. So I'm gonna work on that, and I don't know. I'll figure something out. But oh yeah, so I filed civil suits against the landlord since the landlord tried to get my counterclaim dismissed and shit, and the judge gave him a dismissal for it. Now I'm suing them for real in big court. But yeah, this doesn't happen to everybody. This is just a specific case with me because I filed the wrong paper. I didn't file the right paper in the beginning. So um since I didn't have it suppressed and it was able to go to a court again and all this other dumb shit and I have to refight and all this, it's just something that you don't have to go through. You do not have to go through this the hard way, the way I did. Okay, so make sure you cover your ass. Make sure whenever somebody is committing a crime against you that you're recording it. You have to record it because ultimately they're going to try to settle with you. Okay, so you put down, you upload all the stuff that you have to prove they're going to come and settle. So that's just a. I'm hungry. I'm about to go make something to eat. So hopefully I helped y'all. I explained, I always give y'all full disclosure on anything that happens to me in my personal and private life, in my public life, with my family, whether I'm doing well or I'm not. I'm always honest. That's why I wanted to let y'all know that I'm separated from Augustus. We're not together anymore. So there's a lot of people was texting about me and Gus and if we could do this, that, and the third, but there's no more grounded and Gus, okay? It's just grounded. Um, and I'm going to step back to try to reassess my own situation since it's just me now. And I wanted to give y'all those gems on how to protect yourself in court when it comes to a criminal case, traffic court, or eviction court. I appreciate you. It's just people with me and Augustus. We just we don't want the same thing. I don't want to ever have anybody in my family be a slave again. And I'm not saying that Augustus wants to be a slave. However, I think that he's at the age in his life where he just want to be stable and he wants to just go to a job every day and come home to a house that he knows is not going to lose. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Um, I'm just not there. I have no desire to be just staying in a fucking house and just cooking food for my fucking family and cleaning up and waiting for somebody to come home from fucking work. I don't want that life. I just dedicated 31 years of my life to my kids and 10 years of my life to my husband. And I did not do well with those two things. So now it is my turn to do me. And that's what I'm going to do. And my doing me is to not accept anybody stealing from me, raping me, corrupting me, or trying to convince me of something that's not true. So this was easier when I was doing this with Augustus because I knew that spiritually at the very least, I'm protected because he can protect me spiritually. So now I'm just doing this by myself. Uh, it's gonna be difficult, but I will do it. And I just have to put my guards up and retraining my body for defense. I noticed that with me boxing again, uh, I'm weak. My moves are slow, and I gotta start from scratch again because I was married, so I kind of let that man stuff be for the man. So now I gotta retrain my body, but my knife skills are still where they supposed to be. My ice pick, my hammer, all that shit. Uh, Went back to the gun range. I cleared everybody's neck at once, no casualties. So I'm retraining myself, and I'll be ready for whatever's coming at me. And the next cop that fucking try to pull a gun on me, he gonna wish he didn't. So if y'all not ready to really be about this fucking life, don't try to do this shit so you can stop paying your fucking Netflix bill. That's loser shit. If you're not doing this for real fucking shit, real serious legacy shit, meaning real estate properties, land, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They like I'm not playing no more, seriously. I don't care. You pull as many guns on me as you want. If you kill me in front of my kids, my son is gonna blow your whole fucking world up. It's that simple. My son and my daughters, they have me on lockdown. They don't want me going out the fucking house unless I tell them where I go because they scared I'm going to kill somebody. I mean, it won't be the first time. I'm not fucking playing with nobody no more. How dare you tell me that you're reading in your fucking court files from your police vehicle and it says this person is not committing a crime and then you pull your gun on me? I will die for this shit. Like I said, I raised my kids. My kids in their life are doing well. Every fucking last one of them. There is not one child of mine that came out of my vagina who was doing bad. So I say, I did my job with them. I would say I did my job with Augustus. I was a good wife to him. I supported him. I tried to make him be free. I did my job. He did not want that or accept that. Cool. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me. Right now, this is only about me. I have suppressed myself as a fucking mother, a daughter, a sibling, a aunt, a wife. I've suppressed myself in every role that I had to make somebody else feel bigger. But the truth is, I am the biggest. And now that my husband is doing his own thing and we're separated, now I no longer have to act like I'm fucking less. I am only the top. I am only the one. I take orders from no one. I only respect people who earn respect. That's just what it is. You do not have to like me. You do not have to want to share any space with me. And you can talk shit about me behind my back like most people do. I don't care about none of that because at the end of the day, all of y'all see the truth of what I'm doing. Now I'll have people that I gave my energy to go on social media and try to discredit me and call me a liar and say she not really doing this and she not doing that. But I showed y'all the non-move out court order on my Facebook page. I showed y'all me coming back into my apartment with the locksmith. I showed y'all me still being in the apartment after constantly them trying to evict me. There's nothing that I'm saying that can't be back. My daughter said to me in the car the other day, Mom, I'm trying to figure out how you are still out of jail. She asked me, how many felony cases have you got yourself out of? And when we started to add up the case, and the most serious case was the attempted murder charge. And the attempted murder charge in what state was that? Oh yeah, Massachusetts. They had me on attempted murder, trying to say I tried to kill my baby daddy. Uh, yeah, I got myself out of that too. And I had a lawyer, and I told the lawyer, "You're useless, so you keep your mouth closed." Now, go to the state of Massachusetts. Y'all always think the fuck I'm lying. Go to the state of Massachusetts, and you look my fucking cases up, and you get the word for word transcript. I never lie. And I challenge any fucking body to prove to me that I'm lying about anything that I say out my fucking mouth. Yes, before I learned any of these fucking laws, in 2003, I got myself off an attempted murder charge. Walked away. All they said was, you cannot purchase a hammer for 10 years. I said, cool. I agree to those terms. I ain't buying no hammer for 10 years. I ordered hammers from other people to buy it for me because that's my weapon of choice. My weapon of choice is a hammer because the back of the hammer is the perfect way to really get in somebody's skull and just rip it out. You know, the hook part. But anyway, my war strategy is up close and personal physical. I don't like guns. I don't like shooting guns. I don't like bombs. All of those things are made from somebody who doesn't have any power, who knew that they couldn't win in a fucking square combat battle. I don't like bitches like that. I like people that come to fight, and the last man standing is who wins. I don't like people getting soldiers to go fight a fucking war because you don't like this dude because he fucking some bitch you used to fuck. So now all of these fucking countries is fighting a war from your dumb ass. I don't agree with none of that. I have my own way of thinking, my own way of being, my own belief system. That's when I say I'm the righteous person I know, it's because I'm only the righteous person I know with my idea of what righteousness is. We don't all have the same ideas of what we believe. All we have to do is know that we have to believe in ourselves. And you're only a slave if you allow yourself to be a slave. I'm allowing my kids right now to have their say over me because right now I'm training. All I do is train. So hopefully, I won't be able to do these lives no more for a while, but I will try to carve out some time where I'm doing like little 3-minute videos on my phone, and I'll just try to upload them. So if I get any downloads for y'all, that y'all won't be affected by my separation with my marriage. I don't want it to affect what I'm teaching y'all. So I hope this helped. Remember what I said about Maryland. The courts does not have jurisdiction over real estate property.